Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Héctor Tijerina, Executive Director of Invest Monterrey, the investment promotion agency of the state of Nuevo León. It is an honor for me to be here today, October 28, 2021, to welcome you to the first edition of our Invest Monterrey Business Talks Asia. On behalf of Invest Monterrey, I would like to thank everyone joining us today, here at the event and virtually. To the officials from the three levels of government, to the ambassadors of Mexico in Asia, to the Asian ambassadors in Mexico, to the associations that represent the Asian communities in our country, to our partners at Invest Monterrey that represent universities, business chambers, clusters, consulting firms, real estate developers, and multiple respectful companies operating in Monterrey. And of course, to all Asian companies interested in establishing operations or growing your operations here in Monterrey. Thank you. Our special appreciation goes to our main guests today, the state government of Nuevo León, the Embassy of the Republic of China to Mexico, the Japan External Trade Organization JETRO, the Korea Trade Investment Promotion Agency KOTRA, the Office of the Chinese Council for International Trade CCPIT, Hofusan, Kuka Home, and Kia Motors. Thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule and honoring us with your presence today. Last but not least, we would like to thank Monterrey Tech and Egade Business School, partners of Invest Monterrey, for giving us the opportunity to use these amazing facilities and for all the support we have received during the past weeks to organize this event. Now I will leave the floor to Dr. Daniel Maranto, Director of Egade Business School, who will share a welcome message.
Good evening again to all of you. Welcome to Egade Business School. It is my pleasure to welcome you to our school, and thanks for selecting us as the place to hold this very, very relevant event for our city and our state. I truly believe that a region can be attractive for local and multinational investments when at least three key actors actively participate and work together to serve multiple stakeholders: investors, customers, collaborators, suppliers, government, community, always in a sustainable way. These actors are firms that provide services and products, government that sets the proper conditions for firms to grow and prosper, academia that prepares talent equipped to add value to organizations. This is the well-known triple helix model set by Etzkowitz and Lederslot back in the early 90s. At the Egade Business School, we host the graduate programs in business and a portfolio of executive education programs, as well as a number of possibilities to make our contribution to make Monterrey and Nuevo León the attractor for businesses and innovation. So welcome again, and for sure, this will be a very productive event. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Maranto. To begin the event, I will allow myself to invite Mr. Andrés Ochoa Bunzo, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Invest Monterrey, who will share an opening message to formally inaugurate the Invest Monterrey Business Talks Asia 2021.
As most of you know, Invest Monterrey is the economic development agency fostered and launched by the Secretary of the Economy in conjunction with Consejo Nuevo León and the close to 100 founding members of the organization, comprised of the main business chambers and organizations, clusters, the 4 largest universities, and a cross-section of companies engaged and committed to the attraction of capital to our state and its comprehensive economic development. We are delighted today to have with us Mr. Ivan Rivas, our newly designated Secretary of the Economy of the state of Nuevo León. Invest Monterrey is fully committed to working very closely with our authorities in achieving our common economic development goals. As widely published earlier this month, Nuevo León has consistently led the nation over the last 6 years in the attraction of foreign investment. This is no coincidence or surprise. This is the result of the concerted effort of a community focused on excellence, with effective leadership and convinced that the success and well-being of its general population can only be assured if the success of business can only be assured if the businesses established in the state are successful. And it is precisely with the intent of showcasing our state's salient resources that we have gathered today to share information with our membership and our invited guests on the effective business linkages that exist and are being further developed between Asia and Monterrey. And to that end, I am very proud to have gathered today the distinguished members of the Blue Ribbon Panel that Invest Monterrey is presenting to you today. We are extremely proud to have you, ladies and gentlemen, with us today. Let this occasion serve as a rekindling of an ever-growing and strengthening relationship between the state of Nuevo León and the various Asian jurisdictions that are represented here today. This relationship and these linkages have existed for many decades. Let us work together to make sure that we can continue to build on them for the mutual benefit of our respective populations. But without further ado, allow me to have Mr. Héctor Tijerina, Executive Director of Invest Monterrey, share with you some very relevant information with regard to the existing linkages between Nuevo León and the various Asian jurisdictions represented here today, and the competitive advantages and opportunities that are created as a result of our working together toward our common goal. Welcome, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ochoa. So before our presentation today, we would like to ask our special guest of this evening, Mr. Ivan Rivas, Secretary of Economy of the State Government of Nuevo León, to share an opening message.
Good evening to everyone. I greet with great respect Dr. Daniel Maranto Vargas, who has successfully directed the institution that today welcomes us. To the President of Invest Monterrey, Andres Ochoa Bunzo, my thanks and congratulations for the promotional work that has been carried out this year. There is very good news for Nuevo León, and Invest Monterrey will undoubtedly be a great ally. Distinguished officials and leaders of business organizations, dear representatives of the media, to all of you present and those who accompany us remotely, I greet you with affection. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for me to greet you today at this great Invest Monterrey initiative, where you will not only learn about the success stories of Asian companies established in Nuevo León, but you will also know the business and collaboration environment that we live day by day and that make us the most important industrial and technological state in Mexico. It's easy to say, but the more than 4,079 foreign companies that have trusted Nuevo León go through a meticulous decision-making process when choosing a country and later a state to establish their operations. We have a strategic geographic location, economic openness, excellent connectivity. We are the educational hub of Mexico, but what really stands out is the productivity and the warmth of our people. Today, the more than 400 Asian companies in Nuevo León have verified that what is produced here is easily integrated into the global value chains of industries as complex as automotive, electronics, information technology, and home appliance. Without a doubt, we are forging towards the fourth industrial revolution today and for Nuevo León to lead the technological challenge. We have three important challenges for the future. Promote foreign direct investment in technology and innovation. Generate a safe environment for the economy that encourages the creation of technology company. And very importantly, go hand in hand with those countries that have a technological advantage, such as the Asian countries. I want to take advantage of this space to give a message of certainty to all of those who accompany us. In the Ministry of Economy of Nuevo León, we are clear that companies need the government to be an ally, a facilitator and not an obstacle. A government that guarantees certainty in economic activities, that puts itself in the position of citizens, entrepreneurs, investors, and above all, the health of our planet. For this, we're working from different fronts. The governor granted me the honor and the important task of coordinating the Sustainable Wealth Generation Cabinet, where 6 ministries will work in a coordinated manner in the economic reactivation of Nuevo León. A reactivation that allows us to reinvent ourselves to create an innovative development model that generates wealth without leaving anyone behind and is committed to the environment. To achieve this, we must act across all sectors of the economy. From the ministry that I have privilege of leading, supporting small and medium enterprises and promoting investment that generates sustainable development not only in the city, but also in the countryside. In this, while we work closely with the Ministry for Regional and Agricultural Development. With the Ministry of Mobility to promote urban planning that makes the mobility of citizens more efficient, that increases our productivity and our quality of life. With the Ministry of Tourism to promote medical business adventure, tourism, and in general, a more sustainable tourism. With the Ministry of Environment so that our industry is more responsible with our environment and we can move on towards a new model of circular economy. All this in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor, with the aim of generating well-paid jobs, but most importantly, jobs that generate well-being for all the citizens. In Nuevo León, we have more than 20 years of labor peace. Initiatives such as this meeting are aligned with the objectives that I have just mentioned. I am convinced that the opinions, analysis, and proposals discussed here will become solid business and generate opportunities and growth for both regions. Our ties with Asia go beyond the economic. Today, our cultures coverage making us sister regions. As a society and as a government, it is our goal to continue strengthening these ties. From our trench, I assure you that I will be so. I invite you to join us in this effort. Have a successful and productive evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Rivas, for your message. Okay, so moving on, I will share a brief presentation about Monterrey's main competitive advantages for doing business. To every company in Asia interested in establishing an operation here in Mexico, and to every Asian company already here in Mexico and looking to grow. We will start with a brief video.
Monterrey, a city of possibilities. Strategically located in North America, facilitating connections around the world. Monterrey is Mexico's business hub, home to the most advanced infrastructure in the country. Invest in Mexico's largest recipient of foreign direct investment, where the world's most prominent international companies are established. Monterrey is Mexico's second largest city. Invest where you'll find a young, talented, skilled, and hard-working labor force, where the best-ranked universities and the largest engineering schools are located. Become part of an innovative hub with the most technologically advanced operations. Live and work in a smart city, where fast data and cutting-edge technology sustain the highest quality of life in Mexico. Establish and expand your business in one of the country's most secure cities, where different cultures create a vibrant business community, and people are passionate about work and play. Enjoy music, sporting events, outdoor activities, and nightlife. Welcome to Monterrey, land of business, land of possibilities. Invest Monterrey.
Okay, so thank you everyone. So we will share a presentation about what makes Monterrey the best place to invest in Mexico. So as you can see from this picture and from the video, Monterrey is a big city with almost 6 million inhabitants. And where is Monterrey located? So Monterrey is the capital of the state of Nuevo León. It's only 200 kilometers away from the US border, and actually the state of Nuevo León has a direct border with the state of Texas, which makes this very convenient for companies looking to establish somewhere in Mexico to do business not only with our country, but with the whole region of North America. The connectivity of Monterrey is probably the best one in the country. All these small planes represent direct flights to the main hubs in the US, from where you can fly to many cities in Asia with just one stop. Our railroad infrastructure is also very attractive logistically for companies. Nuevo León is only one of 2 states in Mexico where the 2 railroad operators in the country intersect. And of course, we have great highways to access the whole North American region. We have a free trade agreement signed with the US and Canada that gives certainty to every Asian company interested in doing business with Mexico, with the US and Canada, from Mexico, of course. And well, Monterrey has one of the highest GDP per capita in the country, with just 4.6% of the population in Mexico. Our state contributes every year with between 7 and 9% of the total GDP. That talks about the importance our state has for the Mexican economy and the productivity of our workforce. We also represent every year around 10% of all the exports in Mexico, and we are also leaders in attraction of foreign direct investment. As you can see from this graph, our state has attracted more than $18 billion since 2015, and has also been the state that has attracted the most foreign direct investment in Mexico since 1999. And this is very important to show because there's a lot of international companies doing business here that carried out very meticulous due diligence processes, and at the end of the day, they decided to establish their operations here in Monterrey. Most of this investment goes to the manufacturing industries. Nevertheless, commerce, services, software have been growing a lot in the past couple of years as well here in the state. Where is this investment coming from? Most of it comes from the US, our neighbor to the north. More than 200 projects since 2015 have established operations here in the state. After the US, we have South Korea in second place. After 2014, 2015, with the huge Kia Motors and Hyundai Group investment, a lot of companies from South Korea arrived to our state. Then Japan has been a steady investor since more than 25 years ago here in our state. And then we have countries from Europe that have been investing here in Monterrey as well. And then the case of China, which is the country from which we've been helping the most companies in the past couple of years interested in establishing here in our city. So I will go into some statistics about Asian investments here in the state of Nuevo León. As you can see, out of 32 states in the country, Nuevo León ranks third in terms of recipients of Asian investments in the country. 8% of all the foreign direct investment that has arrived to our state since 1999 is from Asia, and it's been growing in the past couple of years. Historically, Asian investments represent an average of $200 million every year. There's, of course, a very important increase in investments in 2014 and 2015 due to the project of Kia Motors, which we've been talking about in the past couple of minutes. But I think we can divide the investments from Asia in two different phases. The first one, the first 15 years since 1999 to 2013, this is 15 years in total with an average of roughly $100 million. But what has happened in the last 7 years, this average has increased more than 300% and has gone up up to $428 million. So this talks about the attractiveness our state has for Asian companies, especially in the last years. There's more than 380 Asian companies doing business successfully here in Monterrey from many different industries, because Monterrey is a city that has a lot of attractiveness for many different industries. So this is a good example of it. A huge investment that was announced a couple of months ago was the one from Japanese Kawasaki that will be assembling all-terrain vehicles, creating more than 300 new jobs. Another important investment that was announced a couple of months ago was also from Hisense, from China, that announced a 7,000 employee new operation here in the state of Nuevo León, and that will actually establish operations inside Hofusan Industrial Park. This is how Asian countries have been investing in our state since 1999 in terms of amount of investment and number of projects. As you can see, the case of the Republic of Korea since 2014 has been a very important investor for us, but also Japanese companies have been doing it for the past 25 years, and Chinese companies especially are the ones that are being the most attracted to Monterrey in the past couple of years. So coming back to the main competitive advantages that make Monterrey one of the best destinations to invest in North America, of course, our people, our workforce. We graduate every year more than 21,000 technicians, more than 20,000 bachelors, more than 8,000 engineers. And Monterrey is a city in Mexico with the highest percentage of its population with a PhD or master's degree. We have the most productive workforce in the country as well. As you can see from this graph from the federal government, people from Monterrey are the most productive in Mexico. We've been also enjoying labor peace for the past 20 years. There's been a collaborative effort by the government, the companies, the universities, the unions, in order to achieve this important goal. We have more than 150 universities, one of them, of course, being Monterrey Tech, where we are right now. We can highlight some facts about Monterrey Tech. Is currently ranked the top university in Mexico, and its business school, where we are right now, EGADE Business School, has the top-ranked MBA program in Latin America. So that talks about the importance our state has, not only on the business side, but on the educational side. We are also an educational hub for Mexico and for Latin America. We have the largest engineering school in Mexico as well, which is also very important for all companies arriving and establishing operations here. And of course, there's a very high English proficiency from the population of Monterrey, which is also very important when doing business with international companies. In the past couple of years, our state has been shifting into a more technologically based economy. There's been a collaborative effort between the private sector, the public sector, and the universities in order to achieve what has been called Nuevo León 4.0, which is an initiative that fosters the development of Industry 4.0 here in Monterrey. We have a technology park very close to the international airport, where more than 26 research centers from companies like Schneider Electric, PepsiCo, Navistar, and of course from the universities like Tec de Monterrey, UDEM, and many others, work every day in a very collaborative environment in order to achieve and develop technology here in the state of Nuevo León. We have more than 140 industrial parks. We were talking Monterrey is a highly industrialized city, and this is a good example of it. There's more than 140 industrial parks from where to choose from whenever you decide to visit our state and explore the possibility of establishing operations here. We have an ecosystem of 13 clusters that are business associations that represent different strategic industries for the state of Nuevo León. Some examples of them are associations that represent the automotive cluster, the home appliances, the IT and software, energy, tourism, and many others. In total, this is an ecosystem of 13 clusters that work, again, in a very collaborative environment and with a triple helix model in order to foster the growth of their specific industries. We have a diversified economy. There's more than 4,000 foreign capitalized companies, as our secretary was mentioning, from many different industries. We've been talking about companies from Asia, but Monterrey is very attractive for companies from all around the world, as you can see from this graph, from this slide, and in many different industries. The automotive industry, the home appliance industry, food and beverages, IT and software, energy, and many others. Our state has been attracting companies from many different industries and has been doing it for the past couple of decades. And finally, our city has one of the highest living standards in Mexico. There's the highest perception of security is found here in Monterrey. There's highly regarded museums, high cuisine restaurants, golf courses. We are the city in Mexico with the largest number of certified hospitals. And our city is growing north in terms of new buildings. Most of the tall buildings you see around our city are less than 15 years old. And of course, there's a vibrant community that enjoys every day in terms of a high working community that enjoys, for example, the mountains. We have very beautiful mountains around the metro area of Monterrey, where families every weekend enjoy outdoor activities. And well, finally, our services in Invest Monterrey, working together with the state government, with the private companies, and with the universities. We like to offer business concierge services to every company established here in the state, but especially the companies that are establishing operations here in Mexico and are exploring different possibilities. We would like to help you, give you all the information you need, as our secretary was mentioning. And at the end of the day, our job is to make your life easier and for you to take the best decision for your company. So finally, Monterrey is always open for business. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. So to proceed with the program and give way to our speakers today, I will allow myself to share a brief bio of Mr. Su Xuanming, Minister, Counselor of the Embassy of the Republic of China to Mexico. Born in October 1967 in Hubei Province, China, Mr. Su Xuanming joined the Ministry of Commerce of China in 1989. He graduated with a degree in Hispanic Studies and a master's degree in Business Administration. From 2003 to 2010, he worked as an economic and commercial counselor successively at the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Guinea-Bissau, Ecuador, Venezuela, and Angola. From October 2016 to 2020, he worked as economic and commercial counselor in Mexico, and from 2020, he now works as Minister, Economic and Commercial Counselor in Mexico. So now Mr. Su Xuanming will share a message with us today.
开始。
尊敬的新南洋州政府经济厅长伊万 Rivas Rodriguez 先生、女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家好！很高兴出席今天的投资蒙特雷2021亚洲经济论坛活动。面对新冠肺炎疫情肆虐全球、国际经济发展缓慢等严峻挑战，中墨两国经贸合作克服诸多不利因素影响，贸易额、投资额仍创新高。2021年前9个月，中墨进出口总额627.02亿美元，同比增长45.41%，进一步证明了中墨经贸合作的强大韧性和巨大潜力。目前，墨西哥是中国在拉美地区的第2大贸易伙伴、第1大出口目的地和第3大进口来源国。投资方面，2021年上半年，中国对墨直接投资1.02亿美元，增长95%。墨西哥在华新设外商投资企业36家，较去年同期显著增加。我们也看到，目前中国对墨投资仅占墨吸引外资的0.6%，墨西哥在华实际投资额也不大，双方投资合作水平与中墨两国经贸规模还有较大差距。尽管如此，当前两国经贸合作的快速发展给了我们很大信心，未来双边投资合作的增长空间十分巨大。墨西哥是重要新兴市场国家，是中国开展对外经贸合作的重要伙伴。世界银行发布的2020营商环境报告显示，墨西哥在全球190个经济体中排名第60位，是拉美及加勒比地区排名最高的国家。这些年来，中墨全面战略合作伙伴关系迎来全面发展新阶段，两国外经贸部门热线交流，中墨双边机制会议如期召开，双方就深化双边经贸合作达成重要共识。随着中国对外投资合作稳步健康发展，中资企业在墨投资规模不断增大，结构不断优化，效益不断提升。越来越多的中国企业将墨西哥视为有潜力的战略市场。不少来墨考察的中资企业反映，新南洋州人在城市老工业区功能转型与再开发的过程中，充分体现了这片土地所传承的创新和开拓精神。新南洋州政策稳定，经济发达，产业基础较好，工业及上下游配套设施完善，区域位优势明显，市场规模可观。近年来吸引不少中资企业来新南洋州和蒙特雷市开展经贸合作，比如中车租机公司与蒙特雷地铁局签订蒙特雷轻轨3号线采购合同，并提前交付26列轻轨列车。中通客车为新南洋州提供清洁能源车辆。中墨合作的华富山工业园区建设稳步推进，多领域制造业企业开始进驻。华龙电气、工业电机、联想蒙特雷工厂落至新南洋州，为当地2000余人创造就业机会。海信 启动蒙特雷智能家电产业园项目，还有汽车零配件企业考虑选择在新南洋州投资，预计总投资额数亿美元，最多可为当地提供10000余个就业岗位。中方在新南洋州投资和人员规模有望不断提升。如今中贸经贸合作已进入快车道，我们相信在中墨政治互信不断加强、务实合作不断深化的大背景下，中墨经贸合作将在制造业、能源、基建等领域结出更丰硕的成果。数字经济、绿色经济也将为中墨经贸合作注入新的活力。中国驻墨西哥使馆将始终担好中墨双边投资合作的纽带和桥梁，继续加强与墨方各界对接和沟通，为两国经贸合作更上层楼做出新贡献。谢谢大家。
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Su Xuanming, for your message. Moving on, I would like to invite to this stage Mr. Simon Huang, CEO of Cuca Home Mexico, to share with us the success story of this prestigious Chinese company in Monterrey. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Thank you so much for the organizing community and the Monterrey Investment Department for giving us the chance to share Cuca Home story here. Tonight, there are so many excellent companies here, and compared to them, we still have so many areas we need to improve and learn. Next, I will mainly introduce the development of Cuca Home, Mexico. Cuca Home comes from China. We are the biggest operator of the integrated home in China. Our vision is to become the world leading operator of the integrated home. Right now, our company has growing very fast. We have increased many stores and also many new manufacturing plants in the world. We currently have living room collection, a dining room collection, and also the bedroom collection. Worldwide, we have 1,200 clients in over 120 countries. Besides our own brand, we also operate as an OEM and ODM. Many famous stores are our customers, like Macy's, like Costco and Liverpool, and they are very important for us. Cuca Home was established in 1982, and in 1993, we opened our first 15 stores in China. And in 2005, we are being exported for the first time in the furniture fair. And up to 2015, Cuca Home launched the world premiere of 3D printing sofas and the 3D printing badge. And we got a lot of awards from the furniture industry. In 2016, we officially go to the public in China. And after that, we grew up very fast, and we officially opened the Vietnam plant, and then in 2020, we opened the Mexico plant in June. Cuca Home, right now we are operating 5 locations plants in China, and considering the overseas We have 3 major location manufacturer, which is in Malaysia, Vietnam, and also Mexico, which Mexico is our newest plant in the world. Regarding the retail stores, we have over 6,000 retail stores in China, and also we have 3 considered overseas. We have 5 brand stores in Hong Kong and 75 franchise stores over the world. Cucajon, Mexico is very special for us. The factory we think is like a new baby for us. This is our first time to setting up a factory outside Asia. Different cultures and different times. After a lot of research and comparison, we finally chose Monterrey as our future manufacturer base in North America. We opened in June 20, a back period of the COVID-19, making it very difficult for anybody traveling. I remember that the first 8 people, when we traveled to Mexico, is February. And we set up, at that moment, we cannot recruit the people, and actually it's very difficult for us to start the operation. So the first 8 people start to assemble the production line, machinery, and also start to prepare the manufacture. After 3 months, in the same year, in May, we officially start to recruit some operators from the local. Then we start to produce the first unit at the end of the May. Officially, we open at June of 2020. After that, we have a very fast grow up. And at the beginning, I remember we just have like a recruit like 25 people. And after 3 months, our people quantity already increased around 400. And until 2020, this month, our people already come to like 900 employees. And right now we are shipping around 200 trucks per month. This is our growing up line and for like 1 year. So if we consider the capacity, we are almost 70 times than the beginning. And if we compare the last half year, the first half year, and the first half year of next year, we are almost like 7 times over than last year. And we also see the working efficiency. So after we have a very good communication with the Mexican employees, and also after we have a lot of training with them, the employees, the working efficiency was increased so much. Right now, compared to last year, our working efficiency almost 47% than last year. So that's a good result and performance in our group. We always think about how to achieve this kind of performance. So I think there are a lot of a few topics, a few items which was very special for us. The first is about the communication and the help. Actually, we get a lot of help and from our customer, our USA office, and also from the government. We also got a lot of support from the Sania-Svetonia administration office, also the government, the investment department. They help us solve a lot of problems for the new company always face. The second is about the social and also the responsibility. You know, last year and this year is very difficult for us. We face a lot of problems for the COVID-19. And it's very difficult for the new company to operate on this kind of condition. And the people fear about the COVID, and also for the Chinese people, they're much scared about this kind of virus. But we do have a lot of containment and to protect our employee in this period. When the coronavirus get very worse, we spend a lot of energy, and we do all the PCR tests for our employee regularly, so to make sure that they are protected and there's no problem. So this is a kind of picture we do the COVID-19 test for our employee regularly. Rather than that, we also do a lot of social activities in Monterrey. And I think with this kind of activities, this will help us to make a lot of connection to the Monterrey government and also the many departments. For the new companies, I think, especially for Chinese company, this China is almost the other side of the earth compared with Latin American. So I think there are so many difference. Culture, I think culture is always the major topic for most of our Chinese companies. We have tried to integrate the two culture faster. We are constantly think of ideas that how to enhance the communication between our two cultures faster. So we bring the Cook at Home Week. This is like a Cook at Home kind of activities in China. We bring this kind of culture to our Mexico plant. And our Mexican people, they are very enjoy this kind of activities. We share them the gift, we share them the kind of bonus, we do small activities with them. I feel that the employees, they will enjoy this kind of Chinese culture. With this kind of activities, many of the employees, they have more understanding of our companies. We also organize our Chinese team to learn Spanish. Right now, we have regularly have the Spanish class. So right now, most of my Chinese team, they are working in the plant. They can communicate with the Mexican by Spanish. We also organize kind of activities to improve the relationship between the Mexican and the Chinese. I say that right now we know it's very difficult, but under the protection, I think the people, they enjoy this kind of activities. This kind of things, after we do this kind of things, we found that even the Mexican people, when I go to the manufacturer production line, many people, they can speak Chinese with me. They say, 你好, 谢谢, this kind of Chinese words. I think with this kind of cross communication, we have a good relationship between the Chinese and also the Mexican. Right now, they are cooperating very good with this kind of activities. Then we got a lot of faster improvement in our plant. Finally, I think the supplies with this kind of activities, our people, they are trusted with each other. So we right now in our plant, we just have 25 Chinese with almost 900 Mexicans. Most of my Chinese activities, they are only doing the technical support. So most of the activities can handle by our Mexican. So we have the Mexican manager, we have the Mexican supervisor. So normally the Chinese will not handle so many activities in the plant. So we are almost like more localized. Finally, I want to say that the supply chain is the lifeblood for most of the manufacturing industry. How to effectively solve the problem about the supply chain management is the biggest challenge for us, especially this year. We have a lot of issues for the logistics. We have a lot of issues for the import. And I think how to solve the problem, there are three major points. First, we need to demand the forecast. Second, we will make a very good inventory plan or safety inventory. And number three, we need to find the exclusive remedy locally to solve the issue when it's happening urgently. And with this kind of activities, right now, I remember in last year, we have a lot of production line shut down. Until right now, after we take a lot of actions, right now, almost 1 year, our production line never shut down even 1 hour. So I think with this kind of improvement, the company can solve, and we are very familiar with the activities or issues what happened in the past. Personally, I have been working in Mexico almost 9 years, but I'm sorry I cannot speak Spanish. And I don't have so much chance. But I love Mexico, not China. And but for business and mutual benefit is always a permanent topic. And Kuka Home will continue invest, do a lot of investment in Monterrey. I think since this year and next year, we will be along some topics. And we are optimistic about the future of the Mexico manufacturer and hope to achieve a win-win situation through such kind of international layout. We also hope we can continue contribute to Mexico economic in the future. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Simon Huang, for sharing your success story here in Monterrey. Proceeding with the program, I will allow myself to share a video from Mr. Xu Duo, representative of the Office of the Chinese Council for International Trade, CCPIT.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking from the China Council for the Promotion of International Trade Representative Office of Mexico. And my name is Xu Duo, the Chief Officer here. Very glad to attend the meeting, Advanced Monterrey Busines Talks Asia 2021. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to the organizer, together with a warm welcome to all the distinguished guests and the representatives attending the meeting. As required, the topic for my speech is about the business relationship of both countries. So it is my honor to say that CCPIT is just the right person to talk about it. Founded in 1952, CCPIT is a national foreign trade and investment promotion agency providing varieties of service to local and foreign enterprises, government agencies, and individuals. In 1962, a CCPIT delegation visited Mexico, Brazil, and other Latin American countries. This was the first time CCPIT had communicated with Mexico. At that time, China and Mexico had not established diplomatic relations. The following year, the first economic and trade exhibition of the People's Republic of China opened in Mexico. The day before the opening, then President Adolfo López also attended the ceremony with other senior government officials. Preferred as a bridge for both sides, in the history and present, we have hosted a variety of events like business connections and matchmaking. On other national summits you can also find out, like Shanghai Cooperation Organization Business Summit, APEC Business Summit, B20 Summit, China-Africa Cooperation Forum Business Summit, etc. At this stage, we have 32 overseas representative offices taking care of more than 100 countries. We're also in charge of CCOIC, which full name is China Chamber of International Commerce, By the end of July this year, CCYC has 270 member enterprises in all fields. At present, China-Mexico bilateral economic and trade cooperation has grown and exceeded the level before the pandemic, showing strong resilience and vitality. In 2020, Mexico has become China's second largest trading partner in Latin America, the largest export destination, and the third largest source of imports. We are very pleased to see that Mexico companies are taking advantage of China's vigorous promotion of the upgrading of the consumer market to continuously expand the export of superior products and high-quality service. At the same time, Chinese companies are also actively using the US-Mexico-Canada agreement to increase investment in Mexico, creating a large number of local jobs and taxes. Among many destinations in Mexico that attract foreign investment, Monterrey, as the second largest city in the economy, has a skilled labor force, superior geographic location, convenient export conditions, good infrastructure, and abundant tariff preference. It has attracted Hyson, Meidi, and many other Chinese manufacturing companies invested here, and it is only the beginning. I believe in the near future, Monterrey will become one of Mexico's most important manufacturing centers for home appliances, automobiles, electronics, and electronics. Facing the challenge and opportunity brought by the impact of the pandemic and focusing on the post-pandemic year, I would like to offer three perspectives on China-Mexico economic and trade cooperation. The first is to tap the potential of bilateral trade, including manufacturing, information communication, and agriculture products. The two sides can create more new highlights in the trade of high quality and characteristics products, and promote the optimization and balanced growth of trade structure. The second is to improve the level of infrastructure cooperation. There is a strong demand for infrastructure constructions in Mexico, while China has mature technology, abundant funds, and rich experience. The companies of the two countries can deepen beneficial cooperation in this key area. The third is to expand cooperations in emerging business fields. Online retail and mobile payment continue to emerge, profoundly changing the living style of Chinese people. Information technology are also one of the pillars of Mexico's new global economy promotion strategy. The cooperation here will inject strong new momentum into China-Mexico economic and trade cooperation. With the globalization, the common interests of China and Mexico continue to expand, and the desire of enterprises to strengthen cooperation is growing stronger. The CCPIT representative office in Mexico is waiting to face challenges and work hand in hand with all sectors of Mexico to create a better platform, provide better service, create more convenience for companies of both sides to carry out trade and investment activities, and promote the continuous development of China-Mexico economic and trade relations. Finally, I wish the meeting a complete success, and thank you, everyone.
Okay, so moving on, we would like to invite to this stage Mr. Xin Jian, representing Hofusan, who will share their success story here in Monterrey. Thank you.
My name is Joe from the Hofusan Industrial Park. And I'm very glad today here to be invited to this event to share our experience as one of the pioneer Chinese company here in Monterrey. We have been here for about 6 years, and for the past few years, we are growing very fast, as well as our clients in the park. And today, I'm very glad to share our experience that how to do business here in Mexico and how we help our clients in the park to land in Mexico. All right. Okay, first, I would like to introduce our background. Sorry. Okay. Hofusa Industrial Park is jointly developed by Holy Group, Fulton Group, and the Santos family. 3 parties, 2 Chinese companies and 1 local family. So from the name, Holy, Fulton, Santos, Hofusan, so that's where the name comes from. And our development plan is 850 hectares. It's very large. So we're going to divide by 3 phases. Right now, we're in our first phase. And fortunately, we're going to finish the first phase this year. And we're going to expand to be the second phase next year. And our vision is to build an industrial city in the park, in the city. And what does an industrial city mean? Which means we're not only going to have industrial, but also residential and commercial. And I'm going to explain it later. We have many options for our clients to move in. Like clients can buy the land to build their own facility, and they can ask us to build the factory for them, as we have better experience and price. Of course, we have a building for leasing, and the clients can buy the building if they prefer. And we are not only a real estate developer, but also investment solution provider. We help our clients to reduce risk and cost in their investment. Basically, we help our clients to know the country, to know the city, to know the policy, and also to help them to match the supply chain. And once they decide to invest here, we help them to register a company, to open a bank account, and we can also help them to build their factory. So all of this, we call it a one-stop service. So within our service, our clients can hands off. They only have to focus on what they are good at, which is production. And other things, we help them to deal with. So in this case, our clients can feel very safe and comfortable with their investment and operation. And the second, I want to talk about Mexico. Many clients, when they come to Mexico, they ask us one question: why we invest industrial park here in Mexico. Actually, it's not our first industrial park in other countries. We have our first industrial park in Thailand, and that was 15 years ago. And right now, that industrial park is the most successful Chinese overseas industrial park. And during this whole process, we noticed that with the fast development of Chinese economy and the growing of Chinese companies, and Chinese companies become more and more globalization, and they want to be closer to their customer and to expand the market there. And the United States, as the biggest unique market in the world, so it will naturally attract a lot of investment to come to this region. And Mexico, as one of the members in this region, we absorb most of the investment because of the advantages. Like Mexico is next to the United States. In the north area, companies can export to their customer in the United States very conveniently, just 1 to 7 days to cover the whole United States. And Mexico has a large population, which will provide a lot of young and disciplined and skilled workforce for the company to improve their production. And Mexico enjoys the worldwide free trade agreements, which covers 65% of global market. Which means if you produce here in Mexico, you can export your products to this 65% market for duty-free. And many people who never come to Mexico has a misunderstanding about Mexico. Like Mexico is very dangerous and everything is negative. But once you come here to visit this country, to visit the city, especially Monterrey, you will find out a totally different Mexico. And especially in the manufacturing. Mexico is a top manufacturing country in the world. Right now, Mexico is the 7th largest car producer and the 5th largest home appliance producer in the world. And for many foreign companies, Mexico is very friendly. Mexico provides a lot of policy for foreign companies to settle down, like Mexico allows foreign companies to own their business 100%, and there is no foreign currency exchange control, and most importantly, Mexico allows foreign companies to own the property or the land permanently. That's very different from the system that we have in China. And once our clients understood why Mexico, they will come to another question: why Monterrey? Actually, this question is very simple, and we believe that most of the companies who want to invest in Mexico because of the U.S. market. And Nuevo León, the state, has 14 kilometers border with the United States. So if you invest here, it will be like a gateway or a door for your company to export to your market. And as the center of industry for Mexico for over 100 years, as well as the people, here is very industrialized. So no matter the investment environment or the supply chain is very complete here, so it's naturally very attractive for foreign companies to invest here. So right now, Monterrey has more than 4,000 foreign companies invested here. And of course, the majority are American companies, but in recent years, Asian companies, it's become more and more. A few years ago, it's a Kia boom. Right now, is the Chinese companies. Last year, Chinese companies ranked the 2nd in the total FDI in the state. And I believe Chinese companies will be more and more in the next few years. And Monterrey, as the capital city of Nuevo León, is also recognized the most Americanized city. So, which means you don't have to speak Spanish here. So I've been here for 6 years, and I don't speak Spanish. I feel very sorry about that, but you don't have to. People here speak very good English. So for the past 6 years, I practiced my English a lot, as well as my tequila drinking skill. And I want to talk about what we have done for the past few years. We started construction since 2017, and we started promoting park since 2018. And right now we have 86,000 square meters building, and it's fully leased. And we sold 90 hectares land. And because of the COVID control, many Chinese clients, they cannot come to Mexico. So they entrust us to build their factory for them after they bought the land. And right now we have 18 clients in Hofusan family. One thing I want to clarify is we are not only open for Chinese companies. It's just because we have the Chinese background and it's easier for us to do marketing in China. So right now, the most of the clients in the park are Chinese, but we welcome any companies from any nationalities to join us. And this is how the park looks like right now. Back to 4 years ago, there's just raw land and nothing there. But right now we have very complete infrastructures, Class A building, and as I mentioned, we are creating a city there. So we feel very proud of it. Here are the members in the park, and the famous ones like Kuka Home, Hisense, everyone knows them. But others, maybe you don't know the name, but they are all the leaders in their own industries. And many clients, they are still in the confidential period, but Hector just showed a number, like 23 Chinese companies here, but I believe you will see more next year. And as I just mentioned, we're going to build a city. So the city means we are going to have a full function for people to live or work there. So this year and next year, we're going to complete our service, our function for the park. Right now, we are building a Chinese restaurant. It will be the first real traditional Chinese restaurant in Monterrey. It won't be like any Americanized Chinese food that you have ever tasted in any shopping mall. It will be the first a real Chinese restaurant. So we welcome everyone to visit us to enjoy the real Chinese food there. And we're going to put a hotel in the park. It will equip with normal hotel rooms and suites for long-term leasing. And so it will be very convenient for international travelers, And of course, we're going to build apartments there. So next year, we're going to build 2 apartments in the park with 200 to 300 rooms, which can feed like up to 600 people. So which will create a lot of convenience for the people, especially Chinese people in the park, because that's how we do business in China. So in this case, clients can have 0 distance to the workplace, 0 time on transportation, which will create a lot of convenience for them and save a lot of energy. Not only us growing very fast, but as well as our clients. There are several clients, they have been operating in the park for more than a year, and they are getting very successful. Some of them expanded investment, and some of them expanded space, some of them even bought the land to build their own factory there. So what I want to say is no matter how hard we try here to promote the city or promote our park, it's not that useful. The most useful advertisement is their successful story. If they can make a success here, and the other company can do the same. And there are some observations of our clients. They moved to Mexico and operated here. They discovered some very interesting observations that they never expected before they come to Mexico. The first one is Mexico has very excellent human resources. As I just mentioned, Mexico has 120 million population, and which provide a very young and disciplined workforce for the companies. And the Mexicans work very hard. As we know, Mexico is a country has the longest working hour in the world, 2,200 hours a year. Is even longer than China. Look, right now it's like 8 p.m. and we're still working here. I mean, I don't know other city, but in Monterrey it's very common. It's very common. People here in Monterrey are very crazy about the work. So which provide a lot of convenience for companies actually. And the second is many clients, they are enjoying their based sales in the United States market. I believe that is because of the short distance to the customer and less time for delivering and healthier trade policies. So all of this make together to make their US customer feel more comfortable to purchase here in Mexico instead of other country. And here we have very complete supply chain. I mean, yes, maybe the capacity of the local suppliers is not enough because Chinese companies are huge. They have a huge demand. But recently we noticed some very positive changes that the local suppliers, they also expanded their production. They also increased their productivity and lower the price, which will help the foreign companies a lot. And the last one is there are a lot of professional service providers like the shelter, human resources, legal, and everyone together help you to do business easily and save your budget. Our outlook for the next few years, we hope we can have more than 100 companies in the park and to create 20,000 jobs with $2 billion total for investment to make Hofusan Industrial Park to be the biggest investment platform for Chinese companies in North America. And at last, I want to talk about the future. Of course, there will be more and more Chinese investment to come to Mexico because of the global environment. And those Chinese companies is going to create more market opportunities for the local suppliers and the local service providers. And also, Chinese companies are going to create more jobs and tax revenue for the society. So that is a social responsibility that the Chinese companies are going to provide for the country. And one interesting thing is Chinese companies is very different from American companies. Like American companies get used to leasing the property, but the Chinese companies like to own the property. So you will see more transaction in the next few years. So in general, we believe there will be a better future with Chinese investment, and more successful stories is going to be told. Okay, so that is my presentation, and if you have any question, we're more than glad to answer. And here is the QR code. If you have any question, just scan the QR code by WeChat, and we're always here at your service. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe, for sharing Hofusan's experience here in Monterrey. So moving on with the program, we would like to invite to this stage Mr. Victor Aleman, Senior Manager of Kia Motors Mexico.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thanks to the Invest Monterrey community for this invitation, this opportunity. Also, thanks for EGADE and Tech de Monterrey for hosting this interesting event. Tonight I can see a lot of familiar faces, and I believe that it's a very good sign about the business community here in Nuevo León. I believe that the business community in Nuevo León is more now like a family than a business. So it is very good to see that everybody here pretty much well known each other. And every time a new investment project arrives to the state, it's like we have a new member to the family. So welcome to our the newest members in our family in Nuevo León. Also tonight I was given the opportunity of sharing with you the Kia success story here in Nuevo León. But before we get to that, I would like to share with you in a very short video what we do in Pesquería.
The story of Kia has been an epic story about the relationship between human and machine. A story of endurance, hard work, and achievement. And that has been our story at the Pesquería plant in Nuevo León. This is the Kia Motors Mexico Assembly Plant. More than a manufacturing center, it's an amalgam of technology and quality that make the most appealing cars on the market. In order to achieve this result, the highest technology is applied in our processes. Starting at the production stage, flat steel is stamped with over 5,400 tons of pressure per impact, shaping the first unmistakable and distinct feature lines. There is no other task in this plant more automated than the welding process. Here, an army of more than 350 robots is charged with welding precise points to shape the bodywork. This highly flexible line produces up to 6 different models in the same process. The painting process begins by applying an anti-corrosive system and sealants. Our robots are tasked with applying up to 11 colors at a rate of 63 units per hour. This process confirms our commitment to the environment as we use water-based paint and oxidation system backing, which suppresses polluting emissions. A professional team is in charge of the quality assurance and control of the vehicles produced in Pesquería, with the most state-of-the-art tools available in the automotive industry. During the assembly process, a series of precisely coordinated movements take place. Here, more than 30,000 components are installed through a sequential system, which manages the supply of the pre-assembled modules of a car. This modern feat of logistics and automation seems to be simple with the one-kit system. This system manages the efficient separation and distribution of the different components to assembly lines. The perfect and thorough coordination of tasks and activities throughout the process results in a vehicle being completed in less than a minute. Before leaving the plant, all cars must pass dynamic tests on our own track. Workforce wellness is a top priority. The pit area is a space where employees can find legal counseling, nutritional advice, and psychological support, amongst other things. This leads to a positive work-life balance, which results in harmony at home. With over 1 million units produced in record time, creating direct jobs for thousands of families in the region and throughout Mexico. Kia Mexico is an epic story of the relationship between human beings and technology. Efficiency, quality, and teamwork raise pulses with the most appealing and reliable cars. Here, we ignite that emotional, expansive shockwave that makes us enjoy every kilometer, every smile, and every sensation that connects us and keeps us moving forward in this Mexico that never stops. Kia.
Well, that is basically what we have been doing in Pesquería. But now let's talk a little bit about our history, a very successful story here in Nuevo León. Our story started in 2015 when the first investment projects started to arrive in the state of Nuevo León. I believe we all know why we chose Nuevo León. You know all the benefits, all the logistics, the trade agreements, and basically the result has been this impressive complex that we have right now near the airport, the international airport in Monterrey. We have a 499 hectare surface, equivalent to about 700 football fields. In this complex, we have our whole production process, as well as our tier 1, 2, and 3 main suppliers. This gives us a very huge advantage compared to other OEMs, which sometimes have their tier 2, 1, and even 3 suppliers outside these complexes. So this allows us to keep a very control of our quality and all of the export outputs. The start of production in this complex started in 2016, only 14 months after the construction started. So this was also a record time. This also speaks very positive about all the resources, construction resources and engineering resources here in Nuevo León. What we are manufacturing right now in our Pesquería factory is 3 models. 3 models in the subcompact and compact segments here in Mexico. 2 of the most dynamic subcompacts and compact segments in the Mexican market. Forte, Rio, and our sister company, Hyundai Accent. How many jobs have been created so far? Well, only in the production process of the company, 2,400. If we consider the whole industrial complex in this industrial park, we can go up to 7,000. But if we consider all the dealer network, the service-related, and the different supply chains, we can go up to 66,000 new created jobs. Like I mentioned, our production process is inside in this main complex, and our suppliers feed the components directly through conveyors. So that gives us, once again, the ability to perform the just-in-sequence technique. The just-in-sequence technique goes beyond the just-in-time, and it exactly consists of supplying in almost a real-time basis the different components that a car has to be installed. Our story started in 2014 with the basic announcement of the investment. In 2015, most of the construction works had finished, and by 2016, May, we started our start of operations with our first unit, Mexican-made. From then, our main milestones have been the 100,000 achievement, 500,000. In June 2020, we achieved the 1 million manufactured units in the Pesquería complex. And along those years, one thing stands out very interesting, and that is the sequence of awards that J.D. Power has been given to the manufacturing process in Nuevo León. This also speaks volumes of the very well training and labor force that we have in Nuevo León, because Nuevo León had experience manufacturing components, but frankly, this is the first time that an OEM automotive company had arrived. And to receive the quality award for the J.D. Power company, it speaks a lot of this team effort. And that gives us also another clear showing of what the Asian and Mexican culture can do combined. Imagine combining the Asian discipline, the Korean discipline, and the Mexican passion. Well, this has been the result so far. A successful awards from J.D. Power, which is the quality most coveted award in the U.S. market. Our smart manufacturing goes from the very beginning of the process in the stamping shop up to the assembly shop. These are the major 4 steps in our production process. And the first 2, the stamping and welding, have an automation of closely to 75%. This means that most of the duties over there are done in an automated or in a robot way. Our products are shipped to more than 45 countries around the world. And most of our production, around 75%, is shipped through exports. And basically, right now in the Mexican market, along with our leading segment, Forte and Rio, we have also achieved the SUV category leadership with some new products that have been recently launched. But not only selling and manufacturing is a priority for companies, the support in situations like the one we experienced in 2020 have also been a priority for the company. In that time, the experience, the expertise of South Korean specialists handling pandemic issues were shared with the Nuevo León state government and health authorities in order to experience and to share, to apply those experiences and better practices in the handling of the pandemic here in the state of Nuevo León. And I believe we were successful because Nuevo León was one of the few states that was not affected as much as other states in the country. Also, a set of donations were also given in order to support this COVID-19 fight in the state of Nuevo León. Also, we started some campaigns focused specifically to the medical staff that were really, really tired in the early days of the pandemic. So this activity consisted of giving something less to worry for the medical staffs, especially in Hospital Metropolitano, that was one of the most active, unfortunately, regarding the COVID situation. So we said, hey, let's give these guys a break. Let's give them one food supply so they don't have to go out shopping and have something less to worry about. The result was we almost supported all the Hospital Metropolitano staff, and they will really appreciate it. Just a little bit of effort compared to all the sacrifice they have done for the population. And most recently, we also shared and supported the Back to School program of the Nuevo León State with a donation focused for children especially, with 50,000 special face masks for them to have a safe return to school. So as a summary, we have been here in Nuevo León for 5 years manufacturing our products. We are experiencing a new image and philosophy, as you can see in the recent images. We have achieved the consecutive IQS J.D. Power Awards and also Empresa Socialmente Responsable or Socially Responsible Company Awards. And recently, the last month, we achieved the 1 million export unit. So we can see the result of that vision of some Asian companies that have presence now in Nuevo León, and this can be the result. This could be the beginning of a good series of achievements, not only from our company, but for other companies that have presence recently here in the state of Nuevo León. I believe the key is a very well-coordinated effort between the private sector, academic sector, and of course from the government side. If we can combine those situations, believe me, we can have results like this. Looking into the future, the company is looking forward to reshaping the lineup and offering of products. So we are going from an OEM that manufactures combustion engines into a different kind of mobility solutions. This is one of the first examples, the EV6. This is the most recent electric vehicle from the company. Imagine 577 horsepower all-wheel drive vehicle. This is a rocket. It can go from 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds. And it can charge its battery, it's 80% of the battery, in under 18 minutes. This is just a glimpse of the future, a future that we expect to increase with more models, because most of the models that are coming up from our electric lineup are going to be based on that EGMP, the electric modular, global modular base or platform, that is the base, so you can just put any kind of type of chassis on it, and have rescue vehicles, commercial vehicles, or leisure vehicles. So basically, that is Kia's success story here in Nuevo León and in Mexico. And thank you very much, and I hope to see a lot of success in other companies also. Thank you.
Okay, so before giving way to our final presentation tonight, I will allow myself to share a message from Mr. Junseop Kwon, General Director of the Korea Trade Investment Promotion Agency, KOTRA.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Junseop, and I'm working for the KOTRA Mexico as the Country Office Director. First of all, I thank you very much for having me here. And I'm sure that today's event will be a good starting point for enhancing economic ties between Nuevo León and many other Asian countries. Today, I would like to share with you some numbers and features regarding trade and investment linkage and some potential business opportunities between South Korea and Mexico. Let me just get started by briefly mentioning about KOTRA. KOTRA means Korea Trade Investment Promotion Agency. It is a South Korean government agency which is in charge of trade and investment promotion activities, such as business matchmaking, investment support, market intelligence and research, and many other policy advice, among others. Then we may take a look at some economic indicators. Firstly, GDP number. As you can see in this slide, both Mexico and South Korea are doing a great job in the global economy. In case of Mexico, in 2020, Mexico's total GDP amount was over $1 trillion, which was the world 15th rank. In Korea, Korea's GDP amount last year was about $1.6 trillion, being the world 10th largest economy as well. What about GNI per capita? In 2020, Mexico's GNI per capita was about $8,500, more or less. And in case of Korea, national income per person stood around $33,000. Trading volume. Here again, we see that both countries account for a large portion of the global trade. Last year, Mexico's total trade volume was over $800 billion, which was the world 11th rank. In case of Korea, well, our total trading volume was nearly almost $1 trillion. Actually, well, it was the world 9th largest economy, trade volume. Now, let's see some factors which will affect directly a domestic market and future economic potential as well. Firstly, let's see some details about land size. Actually, Mexico is the world 13th largest country in terms of land size. Well, its land size territory is almost at 2 million square kilometers. But compared to Mexico, we are living in a very, very small country. Our territory, land size is less than 110 square kilometers. And in fact, South Korea is about 20 times smaller than Mexico. I would say that the territory of South Korea is just about the state of Oaxaca. Okay, so we are living in a very small country. Well, what about the population? Mexico is the world's 10th largest country in terms of population. As of 2020, there are almost 130 million people living in Mexico. But compared to Mexico, again, we are a very small number because our population is just slightly more than 50 million people. That's why our domestic market is very, very limited, and that's why we are heavily relying on foreign market and trade, especially export promotion. Average age. In terms of average age, Mexico is a very, very powerful and young country. According to the UN in 2020, Mexico's median average age was only 29 years old. But in contrast, our average age was over 43 years old. And actually, this is one of the biggest concerns for South America. Aging population is something to be improved as soon as possible for us. Now, let's see some details about bilateral trade performance. As you can see here, South Korea is one of the key trading partners for Mexico. We were the third country in terms of import amount after USA and China. Fourth in terms of total trade volume in 2020 after USA, China, Germany. Fifth in terms of export amount in the same year after USA, Canada, China, Germany. The interesting point is that in any case of the three categories, 3 of the top 5 countries have already signed FTAs with Mexico. What does that mean? If there's an FTA between South Korea and Mexico, this total trading volume and trade performance will be much more. Total trade between the two countries over the past decade has increased by more than 70%. But here we have to focus on that our import, which means that your export from Mexico to South Korea, has increased by more than 400%. Now let's see some details about trading items. The left circle shows the import items from South Korea, and the right one shows that the export items from Mexico to South Korea. If you take a look at the left one, you will notice that most of the import items from South Korea are composed of intermediate goods, which will be used for reproduction or secondary processing for your re-export. What does that mean? We don't have to be afraid of imports from South Korea because most of them are being used for your local economy and job creation. If we see the right circle, we will know that most of your export items to South Korea are composed of natural commodities. So you have to diversify your export items in the long run. What about trading with Nuevo León? We were the third importing country in 2020 for Nuevo León, and we were the 20th exporting country in the same year. Especially this import performance was mainly due to our biggest companies like LG or Kia, Hyundai in Nuevo León. Now let's move on to bilateral foreign direct investment. Just like trade performance, South Korea also is one of the key investment partners for Mexico. We were the 10th largest investor in 2020. As of 2020, more than 2,000 Korean investors registered in Mexico, and its total investment amount reached $7.3 billion up to 2020. Korean investment in Mexico over the past 2 decades is just what you see on this graph. Our total investment is about $7.3 billion, and our average annual investment is about $334 million on a yearly basis, and each average annual growth rate reaches almost 60%. Investment by sectors. If you see this graph, you will see that most of our investment are heavily focused on automotive and electronic industries. Here we have some Korean companies in Mexico, and on the right side we have some Mexican companies in Korea. It is very surprising that Mexican investment in Korea is increasing a lot, and a lot of Korean companies and consumers are very, very satisfied with the high quality of the Mexican products. Especially Kidzania is one of the most preferred places or centers for parents and students now in Korea. Korean investment in Nuevo Leon as of 2020. 12% of the total Korean companies in Mexico have established in Nuevo Leon. And 32% of the total investment in Mexico were focused in Nuevo Leon as well. And according to the data from Invest Monterrey, average growth rate of Korean FDIs in Nuevo Leon is about 63%. Finally, I would like to stress or talk about some business opportunities between the two countries. High demand items and niches for importers. Traditionally, there are very strong demands for intermediate goods, especially focused on manufacturing industry, such as automotive and machinery parts. And recently, we have a very, very big demand of production automation as well. And Korea is a very famous country for life and tech consumer goods. Well, a lot of Mexican buyers are highly interested in beauty items using AI or AR technology, tech and innovation products like edutech or fintech, and many others are interested in food and culture or digital content as well. And I think there will be a good demand for the public interest, especially focused on health and security sectors. In fact, a lot of Korean pharmaceutical and medical devices are working with Mexican buyers, and they are eagerly looking for expanding their business scope as well. So if you are interested in those products or topics or sectors, please contact us, and we will do our best to get a better performance between you and Korean companies as well. For exporters and policymakers, besides oil and mining commodities, it is interesting that a lot of life and well-being consumer goods from Mexico are highly appreciated in the Korean market. A lot of Korean consumers are very satisfied with meat, fish, and avocados from Mexico, and traditional liquor like tequila or mezcal as well. We have to focus on Mexico's geopolitical power as well, because now a lot of Korean companies and policymakers are paying attention to Mexico because of Mexico's the supply chain focal point for production and sales base. So automotive, aerospace, and pharmaceutical will be a very promising sectors for those interested as well. Finally, I would like to conclude my presentation by briefly mentioning about things to be considered for 2020. 2020 will be a good momentum of bilateral cooperation. Actually, next year will be the 60th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Mexico and South Korea. And our government is trying to upgrade our business platforms as well. Actually, the Korean government has already expressed our interest for signing an FTA with Mexico twice in 2019 and 2021. We are also under negotiation with the Pacific Alliance to get an associate member status as well. There will be an increasing investment demand. As I said before, a lot of Korean companies are looking for or paying attention to Mexico for production base for the US market and sales focal point for the whole Latin American market as well. Well, that brings me to the end of my presentation. And if you have any question or further details, please see the contact point on the slide. We will do our best for you. Thank you again for your attention, and I look forward to having a chance to work with you soon. Thank you again, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
Okay, so to close the event, we will give way to our speaker tonight, Mr. Takao Nakahata, General Director of the Japan External Trade Organization, JETRO.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Invest Monterrey, for inviting JETRO Mexico to this important event. I'd like to start my presentation by mentioning what is JETRO. JETRO is a Japan government organization in charge of trade promotion and investment between Japan and the rest of the world. It was established in 1955. JETRO has two venues, JETRO Tokyo and JETRO Osaka. We have 49 regional offices in Japan, 76 in 55 countries. JETRO's work focus on 4 pillars: to promote foreign trade between Japan and the rest of the world, facilitation of open innovation between Japanese and foreign enterprise, to support Japanese SMEs to expand their business around the world, and research about economy and policy of the world. To achieve our goals, JETRO do different activities, such as the promotion of foreign direct investment to Japan by means of the program Invest Japan. We promote trade and business between Japan and the world through the promotion of exports of agriculture and food products, the assistance in expansion of creative industry and service sector market, the promotion of the Japan brands. We facilitate business ties in the manufacturing and environmental industries. We link online business and we promote the safeguard intellectual properties. I will share some examples of the promotion of Japanese products in Mexico. We are organizing a couple of culinary events to introduce Wagyu beef to all people interested in experience one of the best meat in the world. We also have the certification of Japanese food and beverage promotion establishments called Japanese Food Supported, which guarantees the authenticity of Japanese products offered in restaurants and stores. Last but not least, we contribute to trade policy and economic agreements, providing information on research studies and surveys. With the support of the Embassy of Japan in Mexico, the Consulate General of Japan in León, and the Fundación Médica México-Japón, JETRO carries the project Arigato, which is an initiative of JETRO to thank the Mexican doctors for their dedication and work that they have been giving to the patient of COVID-19 in Mexico. This initiative is in collaboration with Japanese companies established in Mexico, as well as Japanese food restaurants in different cities. The project consists in giving bento, lunchbox with Japanese traditional foods, to the doctors who work in the hospitals of Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, Querétaro, and León, where people with COVID are treated. In each event that is delivered to the doctors and medical personnel, it bears legend. In this moment of uncertainty, we thank you for the hope that you give us every day with your admirable works. One onigiri is equal to 1,000,000 thanks. I would like to share with you a brief overview of trade data. According with the data of the Ministry of Economy of Mexico, in 2022, the value of Mexican export to Japan was around $352 billion. The three main product exported by Mexico to Japan were pork meat, passenger cars, vehicle parts and accessories. In terms of imports, in 2020, the value of Mexico's imports from Japan was $13,897 billion. The main products that Mexico imports from Japan are vehicle parts and accessories, passenger cars, and fixed electronic capacitors. In this chart, we can see some Japanese investment destination sectors. I would like to highlight the automotive sector reflected in the manufacturing of transport equipment, because we know that this is very important industry for Japan. Nuevo León is the house of many important Japanese automotive companies like Denso. Despite the pandemic situation around the world, Japan is still investing in Mexico. For example, Kawasaki Heavy Industry has announced an investment for $265 million to expand its operation in Nuevo León. Kawasaki will produce all-terrain vehicle, ATV, in 2023. Mexico has a privileged geographical position to do business with United Nations and Canada. And Japanese companies have taken advantage of this, generating not only benefits for their company, but also Mexico. The creation of jobs and acquisition of inputs in the region are fundamental for Japan, which is why it is very important for Mexico to develop its supplier to continue attracting Japanese investment. In this slide, we can see that despite the fact that Japanese companies of automotive sector has increased acquisition of national inputs, the supply of inputs still depend a lot on Japan. It is necessary to develop more local suppliers to take advantage of the Mexico's free trade agreements like USMCA. Nuevo León has great advantage to attract Japanese investment, its logistic cost, its territory to develop new projects, and above all, the committed work of entrepreneurs to continue developing more and better business opportunities. On the other hand, Japan is open to investment on Nuevo León. JETRO has a program, Invest Japan program, in which Mexican companies can establish their facilities with the advice of qualified JETRO personnel. We go hand in hand, guiding Mexican companies to expand their businesses. Empresas que están en Nuevo León, perdón. There are Japanese companies who are operating in Nuevo León. Referring to business, according to the data of Ministry of Economy of Mexico, the total amount of foreign direct investment for Japan to Nuevo León from 1999 to June 2021 is $1,724.7 billion. We should mention that there are more than 1,200 Japanese companies in Mexico, in which Denso, Tokai Rika, Nidec, Panasonic, Sumitomo, and Toto as the most representative in Nuevo León, and many Japanese companies are doing business with Nuevo León companies due to their commitment with growth and progress in all levels. Let me mention the case of Metalsa, Mexican company, a Monterrey company that has expanded its business to Japan. At the beginning of Metalsa international career, JETRO provided support to facilitate its operation in Japan. We did researches and connected Metalsa to business ecosystem of Japan. Nowadays, Metalsa has its commercial office in Nagoya and has presence in many countries such as Thailand and China. Japan can be business hub for operation of your companies. And why is Japan interested in making business with Nuevo León? Let me explain a bit. Great innovation ecosystem of your state. The innovation ecosystem in Nuevo León refers to the collaboration between companies, academy, and government with a common objective to be one of the most competitive states, which benefits the society of Nuevo León, Mexico, and why not Japan? Nuevo León 4.0 is an example of the innovation ecosystem. It articulates a high-impact ecosystem with quintuple helix, such as society, talent, companies, high-impact entrepreneurship, and government. Cluster an important part of innovation ecosystem. Certain strategic areas of knowledge have been identified in Nuevo León to be the generator of innovative companies. Nuevo León currently has more than 90 research centers. 60 of them are located on university campuses and companies. More than 30 research centers have their headquarters in Park for Research and Technological Innovation, PRIT, located in the municipality of Apodaca. The future of Asian region and all the world is to solve global challenges. JETRO Mexico believes that innovation is the key to create a real improvement for society and business environment. Japanese companies seek to find alliance with startup generator of technology and innovation. Mexican companies that help them their process more efficient and with accessible logistic cost. We consider that Nuevo León has many startups capable of creating strategic alliance with Japanese companies that help to solve the challenge of Japanese society. To do that, JETRO has launched programs like Japan Challenge 5.0, released in August of this year, presenting the main challenge for the current Japanese society: environmental friendliness, labor shortage and improving productivity, smart and resilient Japan. And Hack Osaka is annual innovation conference that will take place on February 10th of next year. The selected startup will be able to record a pitch that will be presented during the conference. The objective is that the participant startups could invest in Kansai region in mobility, infrastructure, and other issues that help improve the quality of life of the Japanese society. We believe that Nuevo León startup can participate in this important event to do new business with Japanese companies. For more information about all programs we have, please do not hesitate to contact us. Finally, I will give you some useful recommendations for doing business with Japanese companies. The Japanese partner will appreciate the information on the business plan they wish to carry out, and above all, provide timely information to the investor. 2, following up on communication is very important. which will allow opening more possibility. Investor allows expect timely and reliable information. Timing is very important for the Japanese partner or investor. 4, the most important thing is the commitment and communication to create trust, a long-term relationship. First, establish trust. 5, the decision-making of Japanese businessmen take time. For this reason, you should be patient. The project are long-term. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. ありがとうございます。
Thank you, Nakahata-san. So that was the last presentation. So just to close the event, I will ask our president, Mr. Andrés Ochoa Bunso, to join us at the stage to share a token of our appreciation to all the speakers tonight. Please. And to all the speakers, can you join us in the stage for a final picture, please? And to everyone else, thank you for joining us, and hopefully you can join us in the networking event outside that we have prepared for all of you. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias. Aquí hay uno. Gracias.